And some guests, all guests, the fact they agreed to come on the show is lovely, but some guests really put themselves out, and none more than our next guest right now. I mean, she won't consider it like that, but let me tell you, we are so grateful for her being alive and awake and good to go. And by the way, nobody, when locked and loaded, delivers better than this lady. David Dave, who are we talking to next? Live!
She's a singing, songwriting sensation with talent oozing from every pore. She's been raving it up on Patreon during lockdown, and tomorrow she's performing a very special live stream gig indeed. Please welcome, live from Topanga Canyon in the Santa Monica Mountains, it's the incredible Katie Tunstall.
Morning.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. Can you just please introduce me to every room I walk in? That would be amazing. Thanks.
That'd be Dapper Dave you need for that, not me. I'm not required.
I will do that for you.
It's
Katie,
like my wife with her remaining eggs.
Thank you.
I'm no longer required. Still in the deep freeze. Yeah. I have to sign the form every year. Say, well, are we going again? No. Well, what's this form for? You don't need to know. How are you, Katie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're fantastic, thanks. We're having a ball. We are having a ball on behalf of everybody else. And we're just keeping it going. We're rocking and we're rolling. California's going through it a bit at the moment, isn't it, to say the least? What's going on with you guys?
OMG. It's just, I thought we were doing really well. Everyone was wearing masks, and I think just the lockdown kind of easing ended up sending everything a bit mental. And who knows, Chris? It just seems to be doing its own thing, and everyone's just got to deal with it as we find out what's happening, Yeah,
no, good thing.
But basically, I can't go anywhere because no one wants anyone from America.
I know. The most useful passport is now the least effective passport on the planet, isn't it? Could all change come November. You might be all right.
Exactly. Well, it's looking promising, I have to say.
Do you get a vote?
But there's a bit of hope there. I don't. I'm still a UK citizen. I'm way too scared to become an American citizen at this point. I am definitely going to wait and see what happens before I even consider that.
Now, Venice on the agenda for our family today, because we're off to Venice later on today. Venice Beach, of course, is where you used to live, so we're halfway to Venice Beach. We've got the Venice, which is... Actually, there is a beach, so we are going on a Venice Beach, but just not Venice Beach. Later today, we'll be there, hopefully. But there seems to be the beginning of maybe not a mass exodus, but an exodus, not just from Venice or central LA, but from many, many cities around the world to further flung places, with more nature. You seem to have your crystal ball out where that was concerned 12 months ago.
I know. Absolutely. And I know lots of friends who've left New York and gone upstate, or they've gone to Nashville, and there's definitely a move. You're totally right, of people getting out of that city vibe. And I think it's just, particularly for people who make stuff, it just being in these centralized, metropolises, which become a little bit unfriendly to living outside of a conventional existence. It just, apart from anything else, it becomes so expensive.
Yeah. What's interesting?
And so I think just that freedom, and I've moved out where I've got to be careful where I step, because there's many ways to die up here, apparently.
Well, you be careful, because we need you in our lives, Katie.
I know. I promise you I'm being careful, but I took the dog to the park the other day, and there was 2 5-foot rattlesnakes having a battle.
A rattle battle.
A rattle battle. And I'm like, I usually pay 15 quid to see this. Yeah. And this is happening in my dog park.
So funny, because
it's...
Sorry, go on. It's awkward with the half-second delay. Off you go.
Yeah. It's just wild. I think people are craving some nature and craving a bit of wildness.
It's funny, because the second time I fell in love with the West Coast of America was with the soundtrack to your first album, and it literally stayed with me. And I played you all. I thought you were American, because I'd been out of the loop for so long. I thought, where does she live around here? You didn't then, but you do now. Oh my goodness me, things could have been so
strange, isn't it?
It's
I kind of cut my teeth in America, and I actually lived out here as a kid for a year with my parents, and so I think it imprinted a bit, and I've always felt a bit transatlantic.
Yeah, well, I think, your music has always had that energy about it, and that's not decrying the UK. I love the UK, of course I do, and the music, and the seeds of who you are and what you do here, north of the border. But I just thought you're American. I just thought maybe it's because I was in the vibe at the time, and the sun was shining, and the roof was down, and not a care in the world. It was pretty cool. Did you have
if I had to choose West Coast rock, though, which I mean, it's just an amazing genre of music. I mean, Fleetwood Mac's Rumours and Carole King and Joni Mitchell, Neil Young. I mean, it's all Canyon stuff, isn't it?
It is. It's all Laurel Canyon stuff. How far is Laurel Canyon from Topanga Canyon?
Laurel Canyon is about 20 minutes away.
Right.
And my pals who live there, I actually lived with them for 6 weeks at the beginning of lockdown because my house wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. And it was just amazing. And Laurel Canyon is super wild as well, but it's right off Sunset Strip. So you sort of come out of the woods right onto the kind of filth and grime and craziness of everything.
It's funny, isn't it? Because all those roads that lead up to the Hollywood Hills from, the famous and infamous Sunset Strip, it's quite bizarre because, the gates of those roads up Doheny, up all the bird streets, they are as LA can be, but within 5 minutes you could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah, there's amazing parts of LA, that if you showed someone a video or just plonked them there, they probably wouldn't know they were in LA. And where I am, I'm like up a mountain and there's lions. It's crazy. You're just as likely to see Keanu Reeves as you are be attacked by a lion.
Oh, by the way, we interviewed a guy last week who's written a book about Keanu called The Zen of Keanu.
I've read about this.
It's so good. And the more I'm very late to the Keanu Reeves party. Well, I didn't realise he is such a dude. I had no idea.
Oh, listen, I am not. My first ever music festival, I went and played at Tea in the Park in 1996. And Beck was playing, Alanis Morissette, Radiohead. It was amazing. But one of the bands I went to see was Dog Star, so I could see Keanu playing bass.
Me. Is he any good?
It was amazing. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I know he loves his music. Absolutely loves his music. So, are there really lions? There aren't lions.
There are they're not
lions.
They're not actual lions. They're pumas, and they're called cougars.
Yeah.
So when you talk about a cougar, like an older lady on the prowl, a cougar is actually a mountain lion, and they're pumas, and they'll take you out for sure. And there's a number of them in the Santa Monica. If you look on Google and Google mountain lion Hollywood sign,
right,
there are some unbelievable pictures, like cameras that are on sensors of these mountain lions in front of the Hollywood sign, and it's unreal.
I love a live webcam. You can get down that. You can go down that rabbit hole, can't you?
Love a live webcam.
There's some great live webcams. You can go to Malibu Beach. You can go to Honolulu. You can go to the pyramids.
You can also see. Did you see that one of the postman who like a squirrel jumped on him when he got to the door?
No.
It was amazing. Google that as well. It's brilliant.
You can tell it's lockdown, can't you, Katie?
Oh, really? Seriously.
Seriously.
The most exciting thing. The most exciting thing that's happened to me this week is seeing a video of bats with the videos upside down, and it looks like a goth nightclub. It's amazing.
What, because all the bats are the right way up?
Yeah, they look hilarious.
That's so funny.
It's great.
Is Laurel Canyon does it still have the vibe?
Oh, I have to say, kind of not really.
Right.
Because it's all these kind of fancy houses. But the great thing about Topanga is Topanga has it's not really gentrified in the same way. I mean, sure you can get an expensive house, but like I go to the Canyon store and it's like an old barn full of you can get, a mop, and you can get like one of those tennis rackets that kills insects, and you can just get a bag of coffee. And then I was going to pay, and I saw an actual wizard. There was a guy dressed as Gandalf with a staff.
Ooh, that's cool.
Buying whatever he was buying.
That's cool.
So it's still super odd in Topanga Canyon.
It's so funny though. So to lead that conversation back to the one about the exodus from various cities in the world, if not all the cities in the world. And it's not a mass exodus, but it's definitely happening. It's a migration, is what it is. And a lot of people, the reason the rents are high and the prices are high is because people who earn a load of dough wanted to be cool, but they weren't because they're too busy earning a load of dough. So they would move to a cool area and try and acquire cool vicariously. And because the rents went up and the rates went up and the prices went up, that meant all the cool people who made those places cool had to move out. But I read this morning that already rents in New York are down by 15%. Which may well mean that the creatives move back and recool all these places. Now, that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, and it's really interesting. I mean, that whole kind of desperation to follow something and then thereby ruining it by changing the vibe of it. But I remember the first gig of my American tour that I did, God, was it last year? I can't even remember. What year was it? Who am I? Where am I? But it was in Detroit. And Detroit, famously has gone through just a ruinous period of just terrible recession and job loss and a lack of funding. And it really felt exciting being in Detroit. It felt like it was starting to come alive again. And, it's always through artistic movements and creative people lifting up areas that have kind of been forgotten.